Hey, lovely Aquarius. Thanks for joining me today at the Lightroom forecast. We've got your reading laid out in a shortened Celtic cross. We'll talk about it for a little bit and then go through, and clarify for you. I'm in a different place, so if you hear a lot of noise, I'm in a bigger city and there's some building going on just over there. So, sorry about any extraneous noise. We look at the central point. Let's begin. You come out, my friends, with the Prince of Swords. This character always, isn't it beautiful? Always makes me giggle in a nice way. Look, the character here being swept along, we see thought forms that he's attached to. We see them taking him in some ways on a merry dance, but there's a reason for it. I say merry dance. It's just like there's a lot of options here. The prince tends to be slightly unfocused at this current time. Now, this could be about just, it could be anything, Aquarius, but it is crossed by the Three of Swords, remembering sorrow, just having an understanding of it, what it has been in the past, maybe, or what it has been for you in the past, or looking back a little bit, because we're rejigging things here. I feel the basis of your reading today is the Fool, so you're not bound by anything, and I guess this is where the Prince can go off on many tangents. There is a purpose for this. It's not, we don't always have to be totally directed, totally focused. You know what I mean? Anyway, we'll go through and clarify. So the Fool as the basis of this unencumbered, this is the 0 point. So we're starting things anew. We might not have specifics drawn up or laid out, and that's fine. I mean, that's okay. That's okay. What's behind you is quite lovely. We see a position of great power, and in the Thoth deck, the Four of Discs, this card is called Power. It's a really, obviously all the fours are very stable. They're really familiar, if that's the right word. The interesting thing about the Four of Discs, because classically you might see a figure covering the general body, head areas with the discs, holding on. I think what I love about this card is that in this, almost like a fortress from an aerial view, there's one way in and one way out. It's a very, I do get that sense of being very protected here, being very protected, but not actually encumbered by that or restricted by that, if that makes sense. Anyway, so Aquarius, you currently sit here with this beautiful Six of Discs, a card of success, a card of understanding flow, and what goes out, what comes back. It's a very generous card. It's a very generous card. I just think of this idea of being very much in control. Like, it's very magicianship-like, very much in control. You've got all your ducks in a row, but there is a free flow in and out, but you still manage to have this level of control, which is interesting. Moving forward, we get the 10 of Cups. What more could you want? This is in the Thoth called satiety. I always think I say that word wrong, but it's a card of great emotional satisfaction. Excuse me, really amazing. So it's sort of like, I just hear that you've got the best of both worlds. When we say that, I just had 2 cards fall out, but we'll put them back. We get the 8 of Wands, a card of speed, messages coming in, new information coming through. We live in a time where there's just so much information coming through. We almost need to, the only way we can have control over that is to manage it at our end. And so, you know, we can, within our choices, we can choose to be completely bombarded or not. So we get the 8 of Wands and the 3 of Discs, a collaborative card, a card of understanding what it takes to gather people to create new foundations of sorts. But we're going to just pop those back. I'm interested, let's see, Aquarius, what are we interested in here? So we have this gorgeous prince. In the Thoth, in the Book of Thoth, the figures pulling him along, these thought forms, are described as fairies. And as I say, there's a purpose to this. Let's look at the 3 of Swords, please. We get the card of 8 of Swords, self-limitation. Habits, just habits of the mind. You know, getting to grips with how we see the world as a very expansive, welcoming place, or do we feel restricted within it, or what we can do in it? I think we all feel that, you know, sometimes, and some people, depending on predispositions, some people more than others. I'll just get one more card for that 8 of Swords. The 3 of Swords, the 8. Oh, what was that? I just don't see that we get the 6 of Wands coming out, a victory card, a winning card. I think you've overcome. Maybe there's been a period of remembering past experience that's involved levels of sorrow and the sort of constriction or restrictions that were felt at that time. But I do think with the Fool as the basis of this reading, you've really overcome that. So it's quite gorgeous. Let's have a look at the Fool, please. For Aquarius, it feels really sort of, really all over the place. We get the Star. Yeah, this is about independence and, you know, fully embracing it and being in it, you know, being in it. We get the Star, healing. We get some wishes coming true here. A bit of free flow. It's very beneficial. Okay, let's keep going. Aquarius. 6 of Discs at the top. Can we get a clarifying card for the 6 of Discs, please? Yeah. Interesting reading. Right, so we've understood something, whatever this is for you. We've really, this is quite private. I do feel there's some, it's quite private. We've overcome some things here. We get this, we get 3 cards coming out here, these 2 together, the 7 of Swords, the Page of Swords. We also have the Empress. I think we have overcome something here. Whether it's a situation of allowing free flow generosity without being bound by, power dynamics. They're not an issue at the moment. They're not around you at the moment. The 7 of Swords is something that we can often, and we do often, find ourselves in that mental space where, we can't be up front. We're always ducking and diving behind the scenes, maybe using manipulation, all of that, instead of being up front. And the Page is really very much a learning the dynamics of power, and that this is the great, it's really, how we exchange, how we work with that within ourselves. And yeah, it's really interesting. I love it that the Empress comes out at the same time, because this is total creativity, nurturing. It's the ultimate in mother love and being open, This is what enables those seeds, those microbes in that vast sea of primordial life, that it's the spark, just as the full is like the sparking point. The Empress is very much that too. So it's all very interesting, Aquarius. See the 10, please, the 10 of Cups. For Aquarius. The 10 of Cups, please. We're getting a few too many coming out here. The 10 of Cups. Okay, so we see the scales rebalanced. Somewhere through here, you've come to understand. Somehow, the scales are now balanced. We get justice, very much like the Queen of Swords. The key to all of our well-being really is to find an internal balance. And with that, which I think is quite lovely, we get the Lovers, because the Lovers are beyond being about relationship or lovers. It is about synthesizing certain aspects, like within ourselves, an integration of the dualities within us. It's an integration. So I think this is really beautiful. It's also a choice, and it's about also those commitments that we make to ourselves. So it's pretty gorgeous. Now, Aquarius, let's get we'll get a journey map and a little pixie and fairy today for you. And I might pull a card from a deck that I got the other day. It's called the Muse, and it's by I better get that right. It's by Chris Ann, the Muse Tarot. look, there's something very nurturing here. There's something that you've come to understand, actually, that you can nurture yourself. And amongst whatever goes on, you are totally capable of that. The dynamics of power can be very tricky. Very tricky. Constantly negotiating. And sometimes we end up negotiating a little bit too much, I think. Okay, so lovely, lovely. Oh, wow. Okay, let's have a look. Sorry, Aquarius, if this is a little bit disjointed, or it feels to be a little bit disjointed. So, pixies and fairies offer us the singer of the chalice. This is a beautiful cup. It's like the Ace of Cups. It's the cup of, again, a kind of motherly, mothering, non-agendered love and free giving. Free giving. It's beautiful. With that we get Iris of the Rainbows. This beautiful handmaiden. Messages coming in. Clarity. We see through the mist. Iris exists within that zone. She clears the cloud, the mist, anything that is blocking our sight. And can also be about arrows of love, and love comes, of course, in many forms. With that we get eruption, which is beautiful. It's beautiful. We see this incredible, explosive moment or period. And when everything settles, what do we see in front of us? We look down and we see pieces of obsidian, this clarity. There's a lot of clarity here. This great byproduct of seawater and lava flow, this beautiful thing. With that we get, in the Muse Tarot, we get the Four of Voices, which is, I guess in tarot terms, technically the Four of Swords, a card of healing. Oh God, you can just relax. I can just see an Aquarian out there, and of course these are really general readings, just kind of getting into that lovely warm bath. Oh, thank goodness I can relax. Beautiful. There has been a victory here. There's been an integration here. There's been a real running through the, what's the term? Running through like an obstacle course, and you've come out the other side. Man, have you. Word cards, we get the door of value you have opened. You've opened it, beautiful Aquarius. Whatever this is in your life, it could be about, I think it's largely about your relationship with yourself, in fact. On that note, have a good week. And I will be back on time with the new moon readings in a week or two. These were a bit late just because I have travelled across water, and I'm not in my usual little place. So take good care, Aquarius. We'll see you next time. Ka kite. Bye.